Hello. Buying watches is fun. But it can be very sad if you get scammed, and there are a lot of people out there who are trying to take your hard-earned. When you buy a watch, you want to be able to do it fun and free and not thinking about all that stuff at all, but you have to, and I am going to help you. I have compiled today a number of different scams that people might try on you, whether you are buying or selling a watch, and I'm going to help you avoid them. So we're going to look at scams that people might try on you when you are buying a watch and when you are selling one. First, we're going to look at buying, and I'm going to break that down into two different types of scam. One is around fake watches, and the other is around bad watches. I'll get to what exactly that means a little bit later on, but first of all, fake watches. You might be wondering, this watch looks like a good deal, and it looks to be like it's something I might be interested in, but it doesn't have really a whole lot of details, it doesn't have box or papers, and when questioned, the seller tells you they inherited it. Now you see a lot of this on the watch subreddits, people saying, I've inherited this, is it real or fake? And there's a certain naivety to it. Be very wary. Chances are they know exactly what they're doing. There are some online sites as well that you can purchase from that can be a bit problematic. Let's take Etsy as an example. If you were to put the search term in there for a watch that you were interested in, most of those listings are fake. Now, you might think that this is just a bad picture from a seller who doesn't really know what they've got and they've priced it a little bit low because they're not quite sure and they just want to get it shifted. But chances are that person isn't just selling one watch, they are selling multiple watches under the guise of a misinformed individual. Try to avoid those as well. You may even be approached directly on social media by someone who has targeted you as a watch enthusiast, someone who then tries to offer you, again, a product that seems like a really good deal. Avoid. Some other little nuances that you need to be aware of are 1. Frankenwatches, which is a watch that is made of part real parts and part fake, and fake pictures. A listing may have a genuine watch showing, may look in great condition, may be the exact thing you want to purchase, but the product you receive might not be. What you can do here is to reverse Google search the image and see if it's been used elsewhere. Chances are this person doesn't have pictures of a good watch and they have just borrowed them from someone else's listing. Generally, I would say that you need to be aware of any private sale because it's very, very hard to get protection. If you can, do some research on the seller. A good, well-established member of the community will be a lot safer than a complete stranger. And if you can as well, pay with a protected method. Ideally, you'll just purchase from a reputable retailer. I would say that, of course, but ultimately that is the safest way to make a purchase. Basically, if it's too cheap, if it seems too good to be true, it's too risky. We'll talk about how to spot fakes in great detail in another video, so do make sure to subscribe so you see that one. So the second problematic watch that you can purchase is the bad watch. Now, what do I mean by that? A bad watch is something that is targeted at usually an entry-level buyer, someone who is looking at their first watch, and that watch isn't fake by any means. It's just not a well-known or reputable brand and is usually a collection of dropship parts that are assembled to make you think you're getting a good deal. If you don't know what you're doing, those watches can very easily be mistaken for a good quality brand. They often use very high quality retouched pictures and even spend a lot of money in marketing. You will only find out that you have purchased something that's not very good when it arrives and the quality isn't as great, or you show it off online and people tell you, which can be very, very disappointing. A good indicator of one of these brands is when they advertise a very high RRP and offer you, today only, for 24 hours, a price that is almost 10% of the original asking. If you see that ridiculous gap, it's because they're trying to get into your brain and make you think that you're going to miss out, so you make a purchase before you do any research. Whether you're spending $10, $100, thousands of dollars, do your research on the brand before you buy. Because what you'll find is, when you buy it, you can't send it back again. The really tricky part in all of this is that there are a bunch of really good micro brands that are just getting started that are worth every penny, and it's easy to get those mixed up with the ones that are just trying to take your cash. Now, this doesn't just happen online. There used to be quite a few local auctions where you might get the chance to buy a good watch at a cheap price, or so you think. These auctions advertise as having listings of good quality product like Tag Heuer and Breitling, and so you attend thinking that you might be able to pick one up for not very much money. The reserves tempt you there, and you see those watches, they sell quickly and they sell for a low price, and you get all hyped up and you think, yes! And then they whip out the bad watch, and everyone in the room goes nuts for them. The good watches weren't sold to the likes of you and I, they were sold to stooges to make you think that you can get a good deal too, and when the brand names that you've heard of disappear, you are left wanting to buy something. Again, be very careful, do your research, don't buy anything like that on impulse, especially outside of a reputable network. For the next bad watch, we're back to Frankenwatches again, but this time we're not talking about real parts swapped out for fake, but real parts swapped out for real parts from a different watch. Now, in theory, there's no problem with this. If it's disclosed, you could collect a bunch of different parts and make your ideal watch in a more of a customized way. However, if you are looking to buy a watch that is rare and interesting and the price is inflated because of it, you need to be careful that that watch has the original parts. If they have been swapped out from something else, then the value you pay may not be the value it's worth. The best thing to do is to make sure you research, and I cannot stress that enough. Check out the forums, check out Reddit, ask people, research, read, learn everything you can, and you'll soon find out whether or not the watch you're interested in is one you should be spending money on. But it's not just buying watches where you can have your money whipped out of your wallet without your permission, it's selling as well. You might think that you hold all the cards, that the watch is in your possession, that you won't let it go until you have that money, but you can still fall foul of some very tricksy scammers. There are a number of different tells that you can use to make sure that your sale is going to go smoothly. For example, if the buyer says that they are going to send someone else to pick up the watch, that's usually a sign that something's up. They are in a completely different country and they're using a middleman to collect the product from you, someone who will very promptly disappear. If you find that your watch sells incredibly quickly and quicker than you expected, and if the seller has offered full asking price, no question, or even above, again, you're looking at someone who is probably trying to scam you. That's not always the case, but you can start to get a sense of whether or not it's true by just delaying that process a little bit. If their reaction is one of anger, then they're probably trying to scam you. The buyer might also ask you to make a payment through an unsecure method. Whatever platform you're using, use their official channels to make sure that you have the security, to make sure you have recourse. Other things you might find scammers trying to do is send a little confirmation email of their own that looks 100% genuine, but isn't. You might have sent the watch and they tell you that it hasn't been received or it's damaged and try a chargeback. They may even try to part exchange a fake with you or return the product, but swapping it out with a fake. So what can you do to try and safeguard yourself against this kind of stuff? You can check the buyer's feedback, see what their purchasing history is like, see what kind of responses they've had, and you can generally get a feel from there whether or not it's legitimate. When you ship, make sure to ship with tracking and insurance and read the small print. Make sure that insurance does cover valuables, whether they are lost or damaged. You might think that selling face-to-face might be a better way to do it, and in some cases it can be, but it still has its own risks. Watch out for people trying to misdirect you so they can swap it with a fake one and walk out with your original, or even physically intimidating you. Good places to meet people face-to-face are banks and other secure public areas. Again, meeting with established members of good forums is a much better way to secure your safety. And it goes without saying that selling through a reputable retailer, again, yes, I'm going to say that, but it is the most secure and safe way to make sure that you end up with the cash in your account. So there you go, a whole bunch of different scams that are all set out to relieve you of your watch and or your money. Those are the ones that I've come across, and I'm sure there are many, many more. If you've experienced some yourself or know of some, do let us know in the comments below, and I will endeavour to share those in a future video. Thank you so much for watching. Please do like, comment and subscribe. If you want to see more of me, check me out over on the Watchfinder channel, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye. Bow, bow.